Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I will talk about the tips and tricks of getting a visitor visa in Canada. Please keep in mind that I am not an immigration consultant and I am only sharing my experience about myself and with others who have successfully got their visitor visa approved in Canada without taking in help from an immigration consultant. While there are several factors that might favor or go against your visitor visa application, I will tell you the top tips and tricks to get your Canada tourist visa application approved. Before we get into the reasons why your application can get denied, we need to think about what consideration IRCC makes when they look at your application. The main question that the visa officer has in mind is, will the applicant return to his or her own country? This is the most important point where you have to make sure that you convince the visa officer with proper supporting documents and a clear, concise cover letter. Let's break this down. So let's talk about the invitation letter. If you have a sponsor in Canada who can be an individual who is a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident, or even can be a student or a work permit holder, can invite you to Canada. Institutes or agencies can also invite you for a business trip. If you are visiting a friend or family member in Canada, they must write a detailed letter stating that they will sponsor your accommodation and food during your stay in Canada. The letter must include your name, date of birth, and travel dates. It must also be signed by the person writing the letter. Also, if your sponsor is an individual, then he or she needs to provide the bank statement and their income details. Invitation letters must be written in good faith. The applicant submits the letter with the visa documentation to the Canadian Embassy or the consulate outside Canada. Depending on the type of visa application, the letter may need to be much more detailed. In the case of a super visa, for example, the citizen or permanent resident must always provide more information about themselves. In addition, financial support and income proof are other additional documents required in case of super visas. The invitation letter must include the following information about the person invited: full name, date of birth, address with phone number, relationship with the person inviting, the purpose of coming to Canada, duration of stay, and expenses details. Moreover, the person writing the letter must include the following details such as name, date of birth, address, and phone number in Canada, job status, whether you are a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident, details of family, and annual income. For invitation letters, for the parent and grandparent super visa, the family member must also provide a letter stating financial support for his or her parents or grandparents for their entire stay in Canada, and proof that his or her income meets or is above the low income cutoff for the total number of people, including the visiting parents or grandparents. The next important tip is to make the purpose of your visit clear. Whether it's a business trip or a conference or a family visit or tourism, you need to be very clear on your intentions on coming to Canada. The length of your visit should match the purpose of your trip. If you wish to visit a family member, do not indicate that you are going on a business trip. If you present any false information on your application will be denied. You have to provide an itinerary of all the tourist places you are going to visit, and if you are visiting a family member, then inform the visa officer about the activities you are going to undertake with your family members besides spending some quality family time. The next important point is strong ties with your home country. This is the most important point where most visitor visa applications are refused because the visa officer is not convinced that you will return back to your home country. If you own a property, you can show the property documents. If you are employed, you can show income tax return documents or employment details. No objection certificate must be provided from the concerned authorities if you are an employer or a student. These documents will prove strong ties with your home country. So basically, you have to make it clear to the visa officer that you have enough reasons to return to your home country. Having property and employment is a great start. If you are a student, you should get a letter from your university or school clearly mentioning that you have been granted leave to visit Canada and the university or school has no objection to this, and attach employment documents or tax documents of your parents. To prove your strong ties, you can look at things like copies of lease agreement, employment contracts, and employment letters. Make sure that they are detailed as much as possible. For instance, see to it that your employment contract includes the length of your employment, your position, and when you are expected to return to work. If you participate in local community activities, you can add letters confirming your involvement. The next important point is travel history. A previous travel history is very important and it makes your application very strong. If you have several stamps on your passport, that can convince the visa officer and will make your case stronger. One of the requirements for Canadian tourist visa is a copy of your previous visas, both valid and expired, as well as your entry and exit stamps. Now you know that this is one of the things they take into consideration, so having previous travel history is always good. However, this is not necessary, as I know many people without any prior travel history got their visitor visa approved in Canada. The next important point is proof of funds. Financial records should be clearly detailed and supported, demonstrating a consistent balance and not a recent deposit to establish financial strength. Many people get a large sum of money deposited in their account prior to travel. Never do this. You should maintain the amount at least for 6 months. The visa officer checks that you have a sustainable bank balance for a long period of time. In all, exhibiting financial stability as well as ability to be self-supporting while visiting Canada is important. The next important point is filling the application form. Fill out your application form correctly. Many people get too involved in getting their documents right and they forget to fill the application form correctly and do not give all the correct information. Also, do not give any false information. For example, if your visitor visa application was reviewed earlier, you must not hide this and give the proper details. Fill in everything accurately and truthfully and avoid leaving blank spaces. If something isn't applicable to you, just write not applicable. The next important point is having a US visa. Having a US visa will always increase your chances of getting a visitor visa application approved in Canada. Therefore, if you have a US B1 or B2 visa, then the chances of getting a Canadian tourist visa are very high. The next important point is writing the cover letter. Write a very clear and transparent cover letter. Do not write as if you are begging for a visa. Write to the point, and that should be supported with relevant documents. The cover letter must include the purpose of travel to the destination, explanations of your travel expenses, sources of income, describe if you have any sponsor from Canada, explain your relationship with your sponsor and the reason for sponsorship. I hope you found this video informative. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you in my next video.